Coming out was the hardest thing I've ever done. Back in middle school, I had crushes on boys, and all my friends did, and we would just talk about it at school. But it was, I guess, having crushes was more of a hobby because when the school day was over, so was my interest in the boy. What I didn't talk about at school was this weird attraction I had to the main character in the movie Gotta Kick It Up. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what a lesbian was or what gay was or that girls liked girls. But I know that my sisters, who I watched the movie with, they didn't have an attraction to her, so I just didn't say anything. In, I think, 8th or ninth grade, I rented the movie Debs, and it's about two girls who fall in love, and I just thought, oh my god, that's that's me. That's that's what I want. That fits. I'd seen a billion movies where a boy and a girl fall in love and just thought nothing of it. But then this movie, it just kind of clicked in my brain. But at the same time, it was really scary because none of my friends ever mentioned anything of the sort. So I just figured that it was wrong and I should just keep it to myself. In high school, I had boyfriends, but I'm friends with pretty much everyone I've ever dated, with a few exceptions today, because the guys I dated were just very, I guess it was insignificant, and it was more of a friendship, and it never lasted more than like a month. Around this time, a couple of my friends' parents were gay, and I knew of them. I didn't personally know them, and I just knew that in my community, they were treated differently, I guess. The straight parents just sort of didn't say negative things so much, but just talked about them as if their relationship was different and, not like theirs. Almost, I don't know, almost not equal to theirs without saying that. And, or at least that's the conclusion that I came to. So I kind of figured, oh my god, if I like girls, it's not okay. In high school, whenever someone would call someone a fag or say, like, you're so gay, I would be one of the first people to just, like, yell at them and tell them to knock it off. I had gay friends who were bullied, and that stuff just wasn't cool with me. Because of that, I guess, people would ask me if I was gay, and I would just say no. I didn't think I was. Yeah, I liked girls, but it was only a couple girls, only a select, like, few, and nobody knew about it. And I just pushed that way down deep inside me. But people would ask. In high school, I had a crush on a girl that I knew who was my age, but I chalked it up to her being not femme, and I told myself that it was the masculine qualities in her that I was attracted to. Then I got to college, and I started going on Tumblr, and I saw a lot of people my age who were out, who were happy, who were in love. And that's when I started, coming around to the idea that I'm not straight. I'm not. So I started playing around with the idea just in my mind, just picturing scenarios of, well, what if I was holding hands with a girl? What if I hugged a girl in public? Stuff like that. Then I sort of came out to my Tumblr friends as pansexual because I thought, okay, I like girls, but I like guys. I think it's the personality, it's the person. I'm pansexual. And the more I was on Tumblr, the more I realized it's okay if you don't like boys. It's okay if you never like boys. You don't have to like men to be whole. And then I don't know. I admitted it to myself. I kind of came out to myself. And when I say coming out is hard, that was the hardest part. I mean, I had struggled with the idea of I'm a lesbian in high school when I just was so terrified to even write it down in my diary. And now, here I was, 20 years old, coming out on a blog. At the time, no one that I knew in real life knew about this blog. So I felt sort of safe. And as I was getting used to myself and used to, I guess, my true identity, I decided to come out to my best friend. And when I told her, she said that she had known since the day she met me. And she was basically just waiting for me to come out on my own time. And I was just so stunned. I honestly had no idea, and I just thought it was really wonderful and accepting of her. And then a few months later, I decided to come out to my dad. I've always been closer to him than my mom, but he's more conservative than my mom, and I was just really nervous. I didn't want to tell him. I decided to tell him when we were on the highway driving through upstate New York in a blizzard. He was at the wheel, and probably not the best idea, but I told him I'm gay, basically. I mean, when I told him that I had something to tell him, and I started crying, and I just, after 10 minutes of like dancing around it, I finally told him, and he didn't say anything, and I stopped crying. And then he asked me questions like, how do you know you're gay? You're probably not gay. You just, haven't found the right guy, or just all this stuff. And he was just, didn't really, he thought it was a fad. And he talked about how I like got really into like makeup and stuff, and it was just like that. Like I grew out of it. And I was just kind of letting that sink in, and I started crying again like half an hour later, and he just kind of looked over at me and he told me everything was going to be okay and that he still loved me. And then, I mean, we didn't really talk about it for about a year. And it took him a while to get comfortable with the fact that he has a gay daughter. I told my mom about 6 months after I told my dad. I called her into the porch and I told her I had something very important to tell her, and that it was a big deal, and I just couldn't get it out, and I started crying, and she was so, like, she looked so concerned, and I told her that I'm gay, and she just was so relieved, because she told me that when I was, choking over my words and not saying anything, she thought I had some kind of terminal illness, and this is how I was telling her. And then she told me that she felt badly that I struggled with it for as long as I did, because she just wants me to be happy. After that, I changed my Facebook stuff and just kind of told people. It was hard at first when I would like run into people from high school and they would ask me, "Oh, are you gay?" And I would just I would say yes. And it was hard. I could almost feel it like in my chest, like burning. It was hard to say, but it got a lot easier. I came out a little less than 2 years ago, and it was by far the best decision I've ever made. I've struggled with a lot of things in my life, and when I admitted it to myself and became accepting of the fact that I'm gay, it was like a weight lifted off me. I've heard people say that, and I thought it was so stupid and corny, but that's honestly what it felt like. Everyone's struggle is different, and I am no expert, but if I can offer any advice, it is just learn to accept yourself, honestly. Don't worry about what anyone else is going to say. Just focus on you. And honestly, it will be so much easier if once you're cool with it, once you can just be comfortable with who you are, the rest will fall into place. This video was requested for Katie and I to do the coming out video together, but I just thought it would be kind of easier on both of us if we did it on our own time. I've sat down and tried to record this a few times, and it was just difficult to kind of get everything out. I tried to make this video as short as possible, so if you guys have any questions, you can leave them below. Um, Also, if you want to talk or just to rant or anything, I'll put my personal Tumblr link in the description box, and you guys can message me there, and it will be confidential. I hope this helped. Bye, guys.